Welcome to News Today on JoyNews with me, Daniel Dazi. Glad you could join us. And in our first story, Parliament has been forced to suspend sitting for an hour following the lack of adequate numbers to participate in today's debate. About 5 minutes after the House commenced business, the Boko Central legislator Mahama Ayariga pointed out that the House did not have the numbers to continue day 2 of the budget debate. The Speaker, after consulting with the clerk, agreed to suspend sitting for an hour. Listen.
Very, very important matter on the parliamentary calendar before us, regarding which the constitutional function must also be performed by this honorable House. I don't think any of us will want this House to be associated with taking this imperative function lightly. I'll suspend sitting and meet with the leaders, because I believe we all agree that this is not good enough. And I'm glad there is no one rising in defense of what is manifestly facing us. We shall have a little meeting, and honorable members, if you want moderators, will come and sit back at the hour of 11:30. I thank you very much for your attendance.
We'll go back to Parliament before the bulletin is over, but in the meantime, as the world marks World Toilet Day today, the Environmental Health Office of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly is giving landlords 6 months to provide household toilets for tenants or face legal action. The KMA says 40% of residents in Kumasi have no household toilets. Out of this number, 20% share public toilets, while the other 20% defecates in the open. This year's World Toilet Day is being marked under the theme, Leaving No One Behind. Environmental Health Officer of the KMA, Isaac Basayin, said the Assembly is liaising with some financial institutions to provide soft loans for landlords to provide household toilets.
Today being the World Toilet Day, we are educating the public and again enforcing the laws on the provision of toilets. Now, the statistics available indicate that 60% of the people in Kumasi have access to toilets. 20% of the people share toilet, that is they attend to public toilet, that is shared toilet, and then 20% defecate openly, that is the open defecation rate. So with this rate, it is a huge number, and then today we are making it known to them that it is an offense to defecate elsewhere, and then making it openly to the landlord to ensure that it's an offense to build a house without public toilet. And as such, they should provide public toilet to the tenants. Now, what we are going to do this morning is to issue notices to landlords, giving them 6 months to provide toilets at their facility. That is, provide toilet for the tenants in those houses. Now, after the 6 months, if you fail to do that, you'll be taken to court, we'll prosecute you, and ensure that you are punished. Now, we have a lot of facility for house or landlords who want to construct. Snapiaba is there today, and it's giving that facility to landlords at a lower rate. Snapiaba called that a hotel loan. So we are entreating the public to come, especially those landlords, to do that and ensure that they enjoy those facilities. Again, we have clean team also there with the facility. And then we have the WhatsApp group, those trained people on the construction of toilet. So if you need any type, they are there to help you to construct a toilet. Now, again, we also noticed that people are also connected effluent into public drain. This is equally a form of open defecation. We started working on that and ensure that they disconnect all this effluent from the drain. We've done that. Today, equally, we are going out, and today, that one, we are going to ensure that we disconnect as we have been doing formally. Ensure that all those things are removed from the drains, and as such, we prevent ourselves from open defecation. We are very, very sure that when this is done, Kumasi will be free from open defecation, and then we shall live in a clean environment.
Stay a bit further with this issue, and Kumasi Mayor Osei Esibe Entry today joined the environmental health officers to do a house-to-house issuance of notices to landlords without toilets to mark World Toilet Day. Households without toilets were issued with a 6-month notice to construct one or face legal action. The mayor and a number of environmental officers started the exercise at Fantinu Town, a suburb of Kumasi. Erastus Asari-Donko is monitoring the exercise from where he joins us for more. Erastus, how successful has today's exercise been?
Well, it has been largely successful. The KMA boss went with a number of environmental officers, over 100 of them. We went to Fantinu, where largely many people there resort to open defecation, or they share public toilets. And so they were given notices, 6 months to construct a toilet. And we went with the Senapiaba team. They are offering no collateral to them so that they can construct the toilet and pay in installments. And so, in all, over 20 houses were served with notices to build a toilet or face legal action.
Erastus, how have the people responded?
Well, the people themselves know that they do not have toilets. As soon as they saw us entering houses, many of them thought that we were embarking on the house-to-house cleanup campaign. So they started sweeping their houses and collecting rubbish. But when they found out that we were giving notices for lack of toilets, well, they said, yes, they do not have the toilet. They were very cooperative. Some of them spoke to the Senapiaba team and took their numbers ready to collect money from the tenants to be able to construct the toilet. So I must say that they have been very compliant. They are happy with the exercise.
What has the mayor been saying?
Well, the Kumasi mayor is happy with the exercise. He thinks that it should be sustained and spread out to the rest of Kumasi. And so he has tasked the environmental officers to start house to house from tomorrow, serve every part of Kumasi, areas where people do not have toilets in their houses, and explain the law to them, educate them on the need to have their toilets, in line with this year's theme that no one is to be left behind.
Thank you very much, Erastus Asari-Donko. He's our man in the Ashanti region. Still on water and sanitation issues, 91% of all dwellings in the national capital, Accra, are without private places of convenience, according to the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, AMA. The startling figures released by the Public Health Unit of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly also revealed that the situation had created a heavy dependence on public toilets and unapproved places for the disposal of human waste in the city. A total of 315 houses are also using the outlawed pan latrines, with some 79 homes also using pit latrines. Director of Sanitation at the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, Engineer Anthony Mensah, however, says the gap has been bridged.
Adequate resources, financial resources for that matter, We need to commit adequate financial resources to the sector for us to be able to make that inroads that we need to make within the shortest possible time, because our statistics don't speak well of us as a nation. Even though over the years there has been a lot of efforts in place. I can count of the Gamma Sanitation and Water Project, which is taking place in Accra here. Within the project effectively started around 2015, but there were several challenges, and there was the need for retooling and reorganization. So beginning from 2018 up to 2019, as I speak now, the project target has been reached and overtoppled. The target for the project in terms of household toilet delivery was 19,000.
Okay.
As at the end of 2017, the total number of facilities built was less than 2,000.
Oh.
So there was a revolution that was put in place to accelerate the process of delivery. And between end of 2017 and now, the project has reached the target and gone beyond, as far as to 26,000 household toilet facilities.
So 7,000 over.
Exactly.
Okay.
And therefore, this project has been adjudged as a highly successful project by the World Bank, and then locally, the CONIWAS conference that was held last year, they awarded the Gamma project a plaque of indicating that the project has been the most impactful project during the last 10 years.
Let's take you back to Parliament now, and the House has resumed after suspending sitting for an hour because of the number of members of Parliament there. Parker Wilson is standing by. So, Parker, we know the Speaker asked the parliamentarians to suspend sitting for an hour because of the numbers. How is it looking now? Parker, if you can hear me, we want to know what are the numbers in Parliament looking like now? Hi, Parker, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. How many MPs are in Parliament? Can you give me a rough figure? Unfortunately, we are finding it difficult to establish that connection with Kwesi Parker Wilson. He's my colleague who is also parliamentary correspondent. Right, now if you tuned in earlier, we began the bulletin by telling you that the Speaker of Parliament had to suspend sitting because, quite frankly, there weren't enough members of Parliament there to form a quorum. Let's now go to Parker Wilson to find out what the latest is. Parker, what more can you report?
Daniel, so Parliament just resumed about 10-15 minutes ago, and just before that, I'm sure that the Parliament had to go on a break suspension for an hour. Now, this is because the majority members, or those belonging to the NPP, were not in the House. In fact, almost about 19 MPs were in the House at the time the business started around 10:05 a.m. The minority had about 35 MPs also present in the House at the time, and those clearly did not form quorum. And so the Member of Parliament for Bokwe Central, Mahama Ayariga, indicated that they lacked the quorum to continue with the business of the House, which, of course, the Speaker agreed with him. But the Deputy Majority Whip, Moses Anim, had wanted the Speaker to continue with the business of the day. And his explanation was that his members are in the chamber, in their offices, that is job 600, watching television or watching the proceedings in the offices, and they will join the conversation in the House. But the Speaker got incensed by the explanation and asked that they suspend for 1 hour and inform all the members of the House to report within the 1 hour so they can continue with the budget debate. And the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Jose Wushu, also indicated that the current system where members of Parliament have to go to the mails room or the records department to register their names and not show up in the chamber is problematic. In fact, the system is not effective, and that he is proposing that, the counting should be done in the chamber whilst proceeding is ongoing. Those at the records department will come to the chamber and do a head count of all the MPs present at the time, and that will reflect the actual numbers in the House. Because if you look at the vote proceedings for yesterday, it was about 211 members in the House. But in actual fact, Daniel, there were only 96 in the House. So the point he made was that some individuals are manipulating the system to their advantage, and it's not the best.
Thanks, Parker, for those updates. We move from that story now, and a joint operation by the security under the Operation Kundan Golu, led by the National Security, have seized 73 locally manufactured long-barreled guns, 1 locally manufactured pistol in Karaga in the northern region. JoyNews sources have described these weapons as being deadly as weapons manufactured outside the country. The team also confiscated 83 metal pipes, 3 hacksaw blades, 2 hammers, 3 G-clamps, 3 iron files, and 1 grinding machine suspected to be used in the manufacturing process. Northern Region correspondent Martina Bugri joins us with more. Martina, similar arrests have been made in Yendi and Tripoli. What more can you report?
What we know is that the exercise is between Ghana and its neighboring countries, Burkina Faso, Togo, and then Benin. And then it is to help raid the countries of criminals. And so this one is being led by the national security. And they are in some communities, it's a national group, and they are supposed to fish out criminals and those they suspect in manufacturing arms. And so this in Karaga, they got these people who are manufacturers of these locally ammunition. But what we gather is that they are as deadly as any other weapon that you know. So if it's supposed to do the same work like an AK-47 would do. And so they are. It's a breakthrough in getting these criminals. What we have been told is that 4 people are currently in police custody, and they are bringing in some from Yendi and Tripoli. And so when these people come together, they'll be able to give us more briefing. But it's been difficult getting information from the regional command because we are told that it is a national security operation.
Okay, do we know how many arrests have been made?
We have 4 people who are currently in police custody. We have Muhammad Husseini, Mohammed Suraji, Yusuf Idrisu, and Abdul Samed Baba. They are currently in police custody.
Thank you very much, Martina, for joining us. Now, away from that story, Health Minister Kweku Agyeman-Manu has announced the deployment of 600 medical technicians and drivers, many of whom would be assigned to manage Ghana's newly procured ambulances. The minority in Parliament has demanded the release of the dozens of ambulances said to have been parked at the forecourt of State House. A recent survey showed there are only 55 ambulances serving the entire country of 29 million people. First, Mr. Agyeman-Manu explains why the release of the vehicles may take a few more weeks.
As I speak, from my check with the ministry that is procuring the vehicles for the ambulance service, the suppliers, about 5 of them, to bring in 307. Right? They have not handed over the vehicles to the ministry yet, meaning pre-delivery inspection and things haven't been done. The minister, on my last check, was on Monday yesterday, is away in Turkey, still looking at some of them, trying to look at how we will maintain them with spare costs and all that. This has not been done. So when the vendor, the supplier, hasn't actually called you that these are your vehicles, take your keys, and then we will send a technical inspector to also look at them, how do we distribute for these vehicles to use? But I'm glad that at long last, Ghanaians have seen that if anything at all, this government is delivering on our promises. So we are working to put the ambulances on road. We recruited close to about 600 emergency medical technicians for training. We have to train them for a year because this is a technical job with some drivers. I'm passing them out on Friday. So we are getting ready to push in the vehicles. But when the supplier hasn't handed over the vehicles to you, how do you distribute them?
Mr. Yabuabian Samoa, who speaks for your party and is Member of Parliament for Denton, said last week in Parliament that there's a tracker that is needed so these vehicles can be located and they can only be installed in January 2020, and that's what is delaying this.
I haven't looked at the scope of works on the contract. If the supplier was supposed to put in trackers and he hasn't put the trackers, that is what I'm talking about. The supplier hasn't delivered. How can you dispute? So that might be one of the technical things that should be done before we take the vehicles away from the supplier.
Now, away from that story, the Institute for Democratic Governance, iDate Ghana, is urging the citizenry to impress upon the two major political parties to find common ground in the upcoming December 17 referendum. Maxwell Agbagba has more on this. Maxwell, tell us, where did the iDate make this statement and by who?
Well, the executive director, Dr. Emmanuel Akwesi, has been speaking here at a public lecture here at the office of iDate. And in here we have representatives from various political parties, we have representatives also from various civil society organizations here. And the lecture by the executive director has mainly focused on how we can build consensus ahead of the upcoming referendum. The executive director is quite worried about how partisan gradually the referendum is becoming, such that people are taking entrenched stance, unwilling to actually consider the merits, of this particular, referendum. He says that we've come to the point where the consensus that we need cannot be taken for granted. He says it is important for both the NDC and the NPP to come together to take a firm decision on which direction they want to move, because he says that it will be absolutely impossible for the New Patriotic Party, the incumbent government, to push through a yes vote on its own alone.
Thank you very much, Maxwell Agbagba, for joining us with those updates. You're still live on Joy News today. Now, Director for the Institute of Local Government Studies, Dr. Nicholas Owari, is accusing Ghanaians of being hypocrites on the reality of local administration in the country. According to him, it's too well known that political parties already have a hand in district-level elections. Speaking at a news briefing on the latest opinion polls conducted by the ILGS, Dr. Owari stressed that hardly were any global multi-party democracies apolitical at the district level. He questioned why citizens are willing to hide obvious partisan findings.
I would say that we are being hypocrites. It is well known that multi-party is taking place at the district level, at the municipal level. It is well known that political parties organize primaries for their assemblymen and women. It is known that the posters you see around connotes, some political party participation in this. It is well known that in the assemblies, if the sitting arrangement is through political party system. We all know this, so we cannot continue to play ostrich. But I have also heard an argument that the fact that it is being done doesn't mean that we should make it legal. Why do we want to hide all of these things? And I think there isn't many countries currently in the world that is practicing multi-party democracy at the national level and apolitical local government system. There isn't.
Now, Principal Policy Analyst at the Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, IMCC, Gamali Hodoafia, believes calls to postpone Ghana's upcoming December referendum are misplaced, since it will lead to large loss of funds by the state. Recent statistics released from research by the Institute of Local Government Studies show that over 55% of Ghanaian women are unaware of the referendum. Speaking exclusively to JoyNews, the official proposed a stronger interaction platforms such as town hall meetings and CSO intervention to bridge the education gap on the subject.
I don't think postponement is a good idea at this time, because it's the 17th of December. We don't have a lot of time to go. Now, remember that if we postpone, it means that we have to do it again. Now, think about how much money has been put into it already, and so it's not a good idea. I think that we just need to put in a lot more effort to engage with the people and then see the way forward. Even a day matters, you know. It's about putting in place more effective measures to engage. That's what we call popular participation. There are various platforms that we can utilize to be able to, we can organize town hall meetings, we can do one-on-ones, you know, we can unleash, you know, a coalition of civil society organizations, community-based organizations to engage with their people.
Now, there's no single X-ray machine to diagnose pneumonia in the whole of Solar Tuna district. Health practitioners in the district have had to go through arduous tasks to diagnose and treat patients who have pneumonia. Patients seeking care are referred to either the Bole Hospital or the old Upper West Regional Hospital, now in the Savannah region. JoyNews' correspondent Mafik Salam reports from Tuna.
Pneumonia is one of the killer diseases in the Solar Tuna Calabar district of the Savannah region. It mostly affects children who are under 5 years of age. Pneumonia is an infection that inflames the air sacs in one or both lungs. Solar Tuna Calabar District Disease Control Officer Mutala Mahama churned out undulating figures from the Health Directorate.
And then in 2017, we saw a decline in the cases, where the cases have declined from 1,890 to 1,297. That is in the year 2017. However, in the year 2018, we also saw a sharp rise again in the number of pneumonia cases from 1,297 in 2017 to 1,723 in 2018. From the statistics from January to October this year, that's 2019, the cases stood at 1,107.
Despite the huge number of persons who are believed to be having the disease, health authorities in the district go through odious times to diagnose the disease. The cruel reality, however, is that there is no single X-ray machine in the whole district. As a result, patients are treated based on clinical judgment. Adiwe Jacob is the physician assistant at the Jindabo Health Center.
We treat most of them blindly because the tools to diagnosis is not there. So we treat some based on our clinical judgment. So you treat some and they will resolve. Fair enough, that is what the results everybody wants. But you keep on loading with your antibiotics, but still the person is not resolving. The condition is still getting worse. In that case, that is where we need the X-ray most. That means at that condition, you are not dealing with pneumonia. Maybe it is rather TB case for you to go with the TB medications. But the X-ray is not there.
Patients are often referred to either the Bole Hospital or Old Upper West Regional Hospital for further diagnosis and treatment.
Some of the clients will not even get the referral to go and take the X-ray and come. So they'll just end up by not bringing any results. They won't go for the X-ray. And at long last, you even hear from such a person. The person has not that the condition has gone, the person has died.
Another equipment lacking in health facilities in the district is an oxygen concentrator.
I've been in the district since March 2018, and I was working at the polyclinic, the district hospital currently. When I was there, what we had was the oxygen, the cylinder, the long one, which is always found in the theater. So when you have a client at the children's ward, male ward, female ward, any other, and you want to give oxygen, now you're not going to look for strong men, about 10 or more, to go and carry that cylinder from the theater to the ward. So when you don't have people to carry, that means you end up by not getting a good resource. But what I'm appealing is that we have a machine, an oxygen concentrator, which is movable, small, even a young child can move it. You just
Indeed, an unfortunate story there from Sola Tuna Kalba. It's now time for business, and the International Federation of Air Traffic Safety Electronics Associations is pushing for the licensing of members to maintain and ensure high passenger safety in Africa. Emmanuel Abwajiriafi joins us with more.